I've got to do something with this information. And not only that, because I'm learning how to medicate for myself, but there's a lot of people out there that probably could use some help too.
Can you tell us how Strainprint came to be and why you created it?
In 2014, I was recommended to give it a try, to give cannabis a try. And at the time, I knew very little about cannabis. I really didn't. I knew it was a recreational thing that I had tried before, but you know, I just figured weed is weed. I didn't know anything about it, so I got a prescription, and I thought, I'll give it a try. Concurrently, as I'm trying, I'm trying to get more information about it, and I'm astounded by the lack of information. Like astounded. Like I could look up various strains, but it was just sort of anecdotal stuff from various people. Nothing that I really felt like very safe about. So why would I put something in my body and not know about it? And of course, there wasn't much information or guidance that the doctors could give either. So it was very much a process of like, just try it and see how you feel. And then now I'm like, okay, we got to start recording this, start writing it down, because it actually is affecting me, and different strains are affecting me in different ways.
What made you go the natural cannabis route?
So I had tried, you know, over the course of my adult life, various medications for mood disorders, for anxiety, depression, and the thought of trying something that wasn't, doctors didn't know how much you should take of it, which strains you should take, was extremely scary to me. Like I was petrified. But I also thought, okay, just start a little bit and see how it goes. And that sort of was the genesis of it. So
you started taking it medicinally and recording your own experience with different strains?
Correct. So what I did was, since I couldn't find any information or enough information to kind of make a case for myself, I was like, oh, well, I'm going to at least record every time I take some different strain. I'm going to write it down. I'm going to mark down the time of day. I'm going to write down what effects it had on me. And I started seeing over weeks and months patterns. I started noticing certain strains were terrible for me. How would I have known that otherwise? Yeah. And not only that, but like the strains that were working for me, I only need a little bit of it. Like I didn't need a lot of it. And so
how long did it take you to kind of dial that in?
So I would say it was a good 3 to 6 months of like just head in the sand, like really kind of trying different things, asking a lot of questions, looking things up on the web, not knowing where if the source was credible, but just hoping. Right. And eventually, you know, started to realize that I've got to do something with this information. And not only that, because I'm learning how to medicate for myself, but there's a lot of people out there that probably could use some help too.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that sort of occurred to me all around that time.
And so when you took your analysis into your doctor, what was the reaction?
Well, you know what? It was very positive, which is obviously why I continued forward with my thinking that something is needed. In fact, I brought him in a journal that I had been chronicling everything that I was using, and everything that I inhaled is chronicled, documented, and I have a full report on the time of day and the effects, and generally I would just go back and look at it just for reference if it was like a few days later and I wanted to see, oh yeah, I only needed a few puffs of that and I was good. So I showed my doctor and he was astounded. He was like, this is amazing, and he actually took a photocopy of it. The app is pre-populated with all of the strains available under the ACMPR. So if you are a patient, all your strains are going to be here, and they're updated weekly pretty much. Now you've decided that you're going to track a session, and how bad is it? Well, we've used typical medical scales from a 1 to 10. Now I'm going to pick from the strains that I currently have. I can always add more. There's always the ability to add more. But let's say for that, I would need probably a sativa. So we're going to vape it, and I take in 3 puffs. And that's it. We're going to give it 20 minutes to take effect, and you're going to get a notification. It's just going to ask me, it's going to say you've medicated at this time, you've had 3 puffs for fatigue, you're feeling about a 7 on 10. It's going to ask me to finish the system, finish it now. Okay. So
I see.
How bad is it now? Well, now it's 20 minutes later. Yeah, you know what? I just give myself a 2 or a 3. And we're also asking for some emotive ratings, okay? So I want to know, how does it make me feel? Am I feeling energized? Actually, I am. Am I feeling talkative? I sure am. And then, yeah, I think I'm also kind of thirsty. I'll submit that. Perfect. And now each time we are having someone track a session, we're giving them points for having done that.
What do the points do, and where do you redeem them?
Absolutely. So we're giving people points because we believe that they should be rewarded for their time spent tracking and learning and helping the greater community. So what we're doing is when you hit certain point milestones, you'll be able to just tap on, we're giving away a vape, we're giving away a grinder right now in a tube. These are always going to change. These are just items that we've chosen for now, and they're going to just basically have to fill out a very simple form with their information. They'll hit redeem, and it will get sent in the mail.
That is awesome.
No, $0. Okay, this is your snapshot. Here, it's showing me that I've used it 92 times. I've logged 92 sessions. Okay, so that's one element. But now, let's take it a step further. This is everything I've ever consumed by date, stated today going backwards. But just as importantly here, we can filter it by effect. So if I want to know which strains actually do make me feel, which strains make me feel the most energetic, let's say, since we're talking about that, in order, these are the strains that I have tagged. So for me, I've most often said this strain makes me feel energized, then this one, then that one, then that one, and you see how it works. And so now I'm starting to really create a picture for myself of how I can utilize cannabis properly and how to use it better.
Do you anticipate recreational users and medical users using this as a personal tool in their lives?
I would hope. I would hope. I mean, the biggest thing that is of a concern to me, as I've learned over the last 3 and a bit years about cannabis, is that it really is a medicine, and it has to be treated as such, and it has to be respected, and there is great opportunity for misuse. And we view the tool that we've created as a place for people who, if they're using it medically, obviously, which is our main focus, is for people to learn how to dose themselves, how to medicate for themselves, how to take charge of their medication. And for people that are using it recreationally, just to have some accountability for how much they're taking in.
What are your thoughts on the current state of legislation? Are you happy with where things are headed, or do you have any gripes about the state of affairs?
Well, obviously, no. I'm happy with the idea of overall trying to destigmatize what cannabis is. I think that's my biggest concern, is that, there still is such a huge stigma about cannabis, and I have to be mindful about who I talk about it with, because I don't want to start up having to deal with negative comments and all that. I've sort of learned to mind myself. In terms of how it's going, it's happening very quickly, I feel. I feel that there will be a big distinction between medical and recreational, and that's my goal. I would hope that that does come through. And really, I think there's a lot of work that has to be done in the next year to help educate the masses.
Absolutely.
To really show people that this is not it's not something you could just go into a store, buy a cookie and you're done, or whatever. I mean, whatever that's going to look like. There's a lot that needs to happen, especially around, educating the younger people and making sure that they don't misuse it. And I obviously care greatly about that. And I hope that some of the data that we're collecting will help to educate a lot of people.